I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
That you wanted to do, or did you have to go out and fight to get the role, or what was the...
Well, I read the first script that was given to me, and I didn't like it. And then when Hugh Wilson, the director, got involved, I really sparked to it, and I said, I got to do this movie. So I went in for an interview, and I read for Hugh, and screen tested, as a matter of fact, for Hugh, because they wanted to... They were thinking of casting this other guy in it, who was in a movie called Spring Break last year. Steve Bassett was his name. And they wanted to cast him because they felt that Spring Break had two big weekends. You know, it made like $4 million each weekend, so they thought that kids would like Steve Bassett. That's how they think.
But you won out.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So do you anticipate, though, that someplace along the line you will run into some law enforcement people who will really be offended?
No. Oh, no. I don't think so, because it's obvious. It's a joke. It's not real. It's a movie. No, I don't think so. Anybody with a half-decent sense of humor. I think there are knuckleheads all over the world that would be offended by me saying the word knucklehead, because there's probably a knucklehead society someplace. But I think for the most part, no, this is a fun movie. It's too much fun.
Don't worry, I won't butcher your ears too much with that. But yeah, Police Academy. Johnny No. He's been a great supporter of mine on Patreon. I appreciate that. He got one of the bid tiers, and with that, he's done a review of all 7 police academies. I had to think about that for a second. There are 7, but when you get the mission to Moscow, you want to forget that shit. If anyone's ever interested in requesting pretty much any type of video, you either do so by joining my Patreon or by sending it directly via my PayPal. The links are down below in the info box. If not, no worries, but if so, thank you. Now, I know I'm not supposed to like Police Academy because you like Police Academy, you're stupid. I enjoy the first 4. I still enjoy the first 4. You grew up with these movies. Some of them, yeah. In fact, the first one I remember seeing is my favorite, and that was part 3, which I'll get to that. But all the ones with the Goot, Steve Guttenberg, or as I call him, the Goot, they're fun. They're entertaining. I thought from time to time I still get chuckles out of them. I think what makes, especially the first 4, entertaining is the characters. It's the characters. Then when you got to 5 and 6 and 7, you start losing those characters like Steve Guttenberg. And when you got to part 7, you only had Michael Winslow, Leslie Easterbrook, Tackleberry, and then Commandant Lassard, G.W. Bailey. That's it. You didn't have Hoots, Marion Ramsey, you didn't have Bubba Smith, let alone Guttenberg, Bobcat Goldthwait, which in 3 and 4, he's a big part of the reason why I enjoy those films. And he's also in 2 as well. But yeah, I do enjoy the characters. You have Steve Guttenberg, who's a wise... I've always liked Steve Guttenberg as an actor. I don't understand the shit he does. He made a lot of fun movies. 3 Men and a Baby, personal favorite of mine. Short Circuit, another favorite of mine. This film, very fun. Cocoon, good-hearted, warm, fuzzy feeling type of movie. Bedroom Window, I still need to see all the way through, but what I saw, I liked. I saw bits and pieces the day after. What I saw was interesting. But sadly, when you got into the 90s, things just fell apart. Things just fell apart. I mean, I know he regrets not doing the later police academies. He regrets not doing Short Circuit 2. I don't know if he could have saved the later police academy films, but they definitely would have made them more watchable. I'll give you that. But yeah, I enjoy Steve the Goot, and I enjoy his character of Mahoney, who's the wise-ass guy. You have Tackleberry, the gun lover, trigger-happy guy. Marion Ramsey as Hooks, who always talks like this, and she's always talking like this, and then she's always real quiet, and you can barely understand her, and then, don't move, dirtbag, that type of thing. I'm trying not to scream into the mic because to make people's ears bleed. I don't want to do that, or hurt my voice. But you have Bubba Smith, who's very strong, of course. You got Leslie Easterbrook, who is one of the teachers, but she's a bit of a wild animal. I'm trying to think of who I'm forgetting. Oh, of course, Michael Winslow with all the sound effects that he did. Which... it's funny, he didn't get a lot of other projects. He was a bit role in Spaceballs. He was in Cheech and Chong's... a couple of Cheech and Chong films, including Next Movie. But not a lot of big roles. But yeah, after this was a success, you pretty much had a Police Academy film every year in the 80s. After this, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. Each one was a police academy. I mean, the only franchise that did that was almost like Friday the 13th, where you had 8 films in 10 years. While here, you had 6 films in 5 years. No, 6 years. 6 films in 6 years. 5 years. What am I doing? Because I stupidly said 1984 plus 5 is 89, but you gotta count 84 as well, dipshit. I wish I could do those sound effects like Michael Winslow. But these characters, they're interesting, they're colorful characters, it's a fun movie, it's a fun group. And I always forget this is R-rated, the first one. Only the first one's R-rated. The second one's PG-13, all the rest are PG. And to be honest, since I saw 3 and maybe even 4 first, I always thought this is a PG franchise. So the R rating, I was a little bit taken aback. And to be perfectly honest, I don't usually say this, I think PG fits this better. I really do. Because the stuff they needed for R rating, with the way these characters are, to me, they just made more sense in PG. just a few R-rated gags. Well, you got a dog humping Commandant Lasar's leg. You got G.W. Bailey, who is kind of our villain of the piece, crashing his motorcycle he commandeered, and his head goes up a horse's ass that thankfully we don't see, but we get the idea. It's not like the characters really curse much, other than, Steve Guttenberg going, "Shit, I'm deaf," or Tackleberry, "Drop that stair before I blow your goddamn nuts off, asshole." Okay, that made me laugh. I'll give you that. But I actually do think PG works better for this franchise. But hey, didn't bother me too much. Usually I'm the opposite. But you introduced all these characters like Tackleberry. He shoots up a party, but he realizes it's a surprise party. Guttenberg is a parking attendant, and a guy calls him dickhead. So then he makes fun of the guy. "Hey, we got red alert, red alert." And then parts the guy's car, says he's a dickhead, but he goes on two wheels and parts in between two. It fits. So Steve Guttenberg, people won't be pissed at this comparison, but I don't care. I think Steve Guttenberg is the Ryan Reynolds of the 80s. That's really what I feel. Ryan Reynolds of the 80s was Steve Guttenberg. I really do feel that way. I know people are like, I don't get the comparison. I don't know, that's just what it reminds me of. Although, I'd probably say I like Steve Guttenberg more than Ryan Reynolds, but I don't mind Ryan Reynolds. But I don't know, just something about it. For some reason, I think if they made a Police Academy reboot, which there have been talks, they would cast someone like Ryan Reynolds as Mahoney. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying I wouldn't blame them. Well, I would blame them, but I would not be surprised if they ever did that one day. But Steve Guttenberg, he's arrested, and a buddy of his works at the police station, says, "Hey, I got one last deal. Go to police academy, but you cannot quit. You can only be thrown out." And then he thinks it's going to be easy, but it's not. And then he goes to the commandant, "I'm trapped here?" And he's like, "Of course. We all are." I thought that was a fun reaction. Why, yes, we all are. Or when the Goot arrives, he's got a t-shirt that says "one in the oven," and it's an arrow pointing, I guess, to his stomach or his dick or something. Or maybe that's supposed to be for girls. One in the oven, they're pregnant, but he's fucking wearing it for some reason. At the police station, he met Michael Winslow, who does sound effects, usually machine gun fire. Other moments that were funny, when G.W. Bailey, who actually worked with Steve Guttenberg again in Short Circuit, he's looking at each of the rooms to see how the recruits are doing, and he sees Michael Winslow playing a video game, making all the sound effects with no TV. Michael Winslow being able to do that, and then G.W. Bailey's reaction makes it seem that much funnier. And of course, the start of Mahoney and others playing pranks on G.W. Bailey's character, or whoever the authority figure is, and this one putting shoe polish on the bullhorn. Or he leaves these assholes that are trying to kiss ass to the Blue Oyster Club, the Blue Oyster Bar. That's going to be in a lot of the Police Academy films. Granted, they would not do this today because it's not PC, but it's a gay bar. And I still remember that music. One scene that was kind of funny, I'll admit, which they can only do with the R rating, is Steve Guttenberg gets this hooker and then has to hide her under the podium, and Lassard comes in, and so she thinks she's supposed to blow him, so she does it, and Steve Guttenberg's like, oh my god. And the commandant lights it, of course. He leaves, then he turns back, and Steve Guttenberg pops his head out. Good speech. And then George Gaines as Commandant Lassard? The reaction on his face, and then he goes to G.W. Bailey, and then G.W. Bailey's like, well, what happened? What did he do? And then George Gaines, he's looking at him and he's like, you alright, sir? No, not really. Can I go? Yeah, like, you came in here. It's a lot funnier than I made it out to be. See, again, that's the tough thing about reviewing comedies. I'm not a comedian. I never said I am one. How do I do it when it's not my job? Again, not all the dads work. Like G.W. Bailey's didn't go into the horse's ass. On the flip side, there are moments that made me did chuckle. Like Bubba Smith is doing this driving test, but then Marin Ramsey does the driving test and she's not doing well, and some guy says something very derogatory, and then the way G.W. Bailey looks at Bubba Smith and goes, oh shit. Oh shit. And of course Bubba Smith takes on the guy and flips the fucking cop car over. What happened a lot in these movies is by the third act there'd be some action finale, which some critics don't like because why do you need action in Police Academy? I'm fine with it. It brought a sense of entertainment, another source, to show them actually be cops and do something about it. Something physical, something action-oriented. I'm fine with that, but some critics have a butt up their ass. Well, they had a butt up their ass the whole time with this franchise. Either they like the first one or they hate all of them. To me, I like the first four. And there's a riot, and the Police Academy do their thing. So, like I said, the characters, it was fun revisiting this again because I had seen all the Police Academy films. I had not seen the first one in a while. So to see how everyone was introduced, I could see why some of the people did not come back. Because the people that didn't come back were not the most interesting people, to be honest. I mean, the one that came back that I didn't care about was Bruce Baller as Fackler. Pretty much an accident-prone guy. That's really his whole shtick. He accidentally does stuff without knowing, and that got old for me. And he came back a couple times. I never cared about, nothing against the actor, but never cared about that character. Cadet Leslie Barbara, played by Donovan Scott. Pretty much an overweight guy who... The one scene I remember in the shooting range, he has a shotgun, he accidentally fires it. Then he moves and everyone ducks. Okay, I'm ready. Then he accidentally fires it again. Then just didn't care about his character. Also, what was his name? I think Andrew Rubin as George Martin. He's pretty much a guy who, he's a womanizer. He's getting all these girls because he has his accent. He wasn't bad in the acting. Not at all. But at the same time, his character was just not that interesting compared to the others. I mean, mainly he was just a guy who could get the girls, including Leslie Easterbrook's Callahan. And that's really it. And again, I just see why, even though he was close and personal for you guys, even though he wasn't that bad of an actor, I just see why he didn't return, because he wasn't that either dynamic or, I don't know, just in a way kind of fell flat. He wasn't bad, but he was kind of a flat of a character. But the others, I see why they brought him back. But yeah, it's directed by a guy named Hugh Wilson, who would go on to direct films like Guardian Tess, Burglar with Whoopi Goldberg, among others. And yeah, I just see why this film was a success. I guess at the time they wanted Animal House, but with the police. That's why it was rated R. But as it went on, usually when the franchise goes from R to PG-13 or PG, I've grown about it. I do think it does fit better with a lesser rating. They just, I guess I view Police Academy like earnest Jim Varney. I would not want to see an R-rated Jim Varney film. Well, he was in that Jeff Speakman movie, and that was rated R, but I mean like an earnest R-rated film. You know what the fuck I mean, Vern? Fuck you, Vern. It's me. I'm on fucking TV. But anyway, it's still a fun movie. It's a good start to this franchise. It was entertaining to watch it again. And I don't care what the critics say. I'm a Police Academy fan. There's talks of a documentary. You can find a trailer on YouTube. I'm guessing nothing's happening because of what's going on, which I can understand. We'll like to have seen it. We'll like to have seen it. But it is what it is. Hopefully one day it'll be completed. Hopefully. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.